This is a 15-minute stretching and mobilising Pilates workout. It's suitable for all stages of pregnancy, but please check with your healthcare professional first. Let's begin in standing. Turn the feet out about hip distance apart, hands to your hips. We're just going to gently rock the pelvis backwards and forwards until we find our neutral spot. Make sure the spine is long and the centre is engaged. Widen through your collarbones and lift your head to the ceiling. We're going to begin with a roll down. So curl your chin towards your chest and gently curl forwards, just about to the knees. Look forwards and then reverse back up again. Here we're really trying to mobilise the spine, so you want to feel every bone in your body curling and moving, mobilising, extending here, and then using your core muscles to gently roll back up tall. Take an inhale at the top and an exhale as you roll. Gently looking forwards, lengthen your back. Use that core to stack back up tall. Inhale and exhale. If it feels good to do so, you can bring yourself further towards the mat, just making sure it feels comfortable. Inhaling at the bottom and exhaling, stack each vertebrae back on top of each other. Let's breathe out, engaging through your centre. Keep that centre strong as you roll forwards. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale. Tuck the tailbone, the lower back, upper back, and lengthen the head. Breathing out, let's roll forward. Keep your eye gaze towards your legs, and this time we're going to come down onto the mat. We're going to take a child's pose, so just sink your hips over your heels, spreading the knees wide. Take a big exhale to relax, and then come up onto all fours. You want to have your hands just slightly forward from your shoulders and your knees under your hips. We're going to lengthen the chest away from the floor and lengthen the head. We're going to curl the spine up towards the ceiling and then gently uncurl, looking straight ahead. So this is sometimes called the cat-cow stretch. Just be careful you don't overstretch here. Just let your belly sink down just as much as it's comfortable. There should be no pulling or straining through the body. Let's curl the head under, curl the tailbone under, arch to the ceiling, and then gently uncurl. Let's take a child's pose again here. Lengthen those arms over to one side. Sink the hips down. And then we're just going to take it over to the other side. Placing one hand on top of the other, let your hips draw the opposite direction from your hands. Let's come back to the centre position, back onto all fours. We're going to thread the needle. So we're going to glide this arm underneath, lowering your chest and your head to the floor. And then come round and open the chest up towards the ceiling. Thread through, trying to get that shoulder and even your cheek right down onto the mat. And then open from the rib cage, the chest and the shoulder. Inhale, stretch through, keep the hips high. Exhale, open it round. This is a great stretch for getting some mobility into your thoracic spine, which is your upper spine. Thread through. Let's change sides and open. Try to keep your pelvis fairly still here, so it's just isolating the upper half of your body. Take an inhale, keep those hips high. And exhale, open round, lengthen to the ceiling. Let's open those knees wide and bring the hips back once again. We're going to come back onto all fours and push the hips back behind you for a downward facing dog position. Just be careful here that you don't feel any dizziness or lightheadedness, and if you do, just come back to your mat to child's pose. We want to press the heels down into the floor, and then we're going to come back to child's pose. So if you're not enjoying that position, let's just stay here and just work on your breathing for the next few moments. We're going to curl those toes under, send the hips back to the ceiling, eye gaze towards your knees, and just enjoy that stretch down the back of your legs, your bottom, and through your whole spine. Let's come back to child's pose. Round out through the back with an exhale. And back to all fours, downward facing dog position. Press those heels down and push your hips away from you. Let's come back to the mat this time, and we're going to turn to face the front here. So make yourself comfortable with cross-legged and equal pressure on your pelvis. The chest is nice and wide and the arms are folded in front. Keep your nose in line with the centre of your forearms and engage your core. We're going to get ready to twist to the side and come back to centre. So we want to maintain your neutral spinal position here. So we're keeping the hips facing forwards, the back is straight, and as you twist from your middle, your head is following your hands. This will ensure we're getting a really good stretch through the middle spine and also using the correct muscles. Let's take an exhale as you twist. We're going to inhale, hold, twist a little bit further, and then return back to centre. Exhale, twist, inhale, lengthen further, and exhale back. Let's unfold the legs now into a long seated position. Make sure the weight is equal on both bottom bones, and once again your core is engaged. We're going to bring the hands into prayer position in front, so press your palms together and rotate once again. This is just a different way of doing a spine twist, and it's really nice for keeping our spines mobile while we're pregnant, when often the spine gets very stiff and you find yourself wanting to lean forwards a lot. And the stretch through the back of the legs here is great for our hamstrings as well. So let's breathe out as you turn and inhale back to centre. Let's now fold the legs off to one side here and sitting up really nice and tall, we're going to take it into a side mermaid stretch. So reaching this arm overhead, lengthening across the body, and then sitting back up. We're going to take this to the other side. Often this side feels a little bit more restricted because of your hip position. Let's breathe out and lengthen. Lift your armpit and rib cage towards the ceiling and return to the opposite side. Breathing out, lift high and reach over. This time turn towards the back of the room and reach back behind you once again. Breathing out, arm opens behind, back to centre, and sit yourself up tall. We're going to repeat this stretch on the other side. So let's just fold the legs the other way and make sure your pelvis is neutral, spine is straight, and float that top arm over. Lengthen it over like a rainbow and back to centre. Coming over to the opposite side. Remember, it might feel tighter on this side. Breathing out. Lift that armpit and rib cage to the ceiling and reaching over. Breathing out, lift and lengthen, This time extending to the back of the room, back to the start, to the back of the room, and back. One last time to enjoy that thoracic extension. And sit yourself back up. We're going to come into a swan stretch now here. So fold one leg underneath you like an upside down V shape. Extend the back leg out behind and keep your chest up tall. You want to encourage this hip to sink down, and the hip that you're sitting on top of, really encourage it just to let go of any tension in those hip muscles. If you're able to crouch forward, this will give you a deeper stretch. So just be careful of watching where your stomach or bump, if you have a rather big bump. And then bringing it back up onto the arms. We're going to change and do that on the opposite side. So folding one leg underneath, extend this back leg out, lift through your chest, and extend both arms. As you breathe out, encourage the hip that you're sitting on top of to release a little bit further, and if you want a deeper stretch, fold your chest over the knee. Just let go of any tension around the hips as we enjoy this good hip stretch. Let's come into a seated position with the soles of the feet facing each other into what we call a butterfly pose. The spine is long, and we're just going to gently bring the chest forwards, just a small amount here, to open up the inner thighs. Encourage the knees to relax down. And that's our workout finished. I hope you enjoyed it today. I'd love for you to like, subscribe, and share this with any pregnant friends.